If there's one thing I've learned from the Babysitters Club, it's that cell phones and the internet would have solved all of our problems in 1987. I also learned how to take care of little kids, but that is of secondary importance. Dawn and the Impossible 3 is the fifth book in the series. It is narrated by Dawn Schaefer, the newest member of the Babysitters Club. Dawn and her family is from California, just like me. They love surfing, they eat lots of tofu, and they all have long blonde hair. Dawn also has an obsession with the weather, and she constantly whines whenever it is not 80 degrees. Okay, so the weather part is accurate, but everything else about Dawn's character is just an unrealistic stereotype, made up by somebody who has never lived on the West Coast. As we saw in the last book, Dawn's mother is dating Marianne's father. So, Marianne and Dawn aren't just best friends, they could be stepsisters. The problem is that Marianne already has a best friend. Kristy. Dun dun dun. Kristy openly hates Dawn. She constantly disagrees with her and takes every opportunity possible to pick petty fights. If the Babysitters Club offices had a bathroom, Dawn would be cleaning the toilet. Dawn is assigned to sit for a new family called the Barretts. Mrs. Barrett is a wreck, who is still trying to get back on her feet after a rough divorce. Her house is a mess, her kids are filthy, and the baby is screaming because her diaper hasn't been changed. Dawn makes the best of the situation, and she manages to calm the kids down by playing a game called Let's Clean the House. Aw man, I hate playing that game. Dawn takes care of her problems with Kristy by being extra nice to her. The two girls have fun playing on the rope swing at Dawn's house, and Kristy apologizes for her meanness by making Dawn the official Babysitters Club alternate officer. That means Dawn can fill in whenever somebody else gets sick. So, in other words, if the Babysitters Club offices had a bathroom, Dawn would still be stuck cleaning the toilet. Speaking of Kristy, her family is moving into Watson's house. That's too far away for her to attend the club meetings, so she might have to quit the Babysitters Club. Please note, this is the fifth time in 5 books Anne Martin has pulled the stunt where we're going all crazy because the Babysitters Club might end. Dawn babysits for the Barretts several more times. There are problems when Mrs. Barrett leaves the wrong phone number and when she fails to mention that the baby is allergic to chocolate. There's also a somewhat nasty scene when Mr. Barrett calls and he demands to talk with his children. You know, this book should be called Dawn and the Impossible Mother. Mrs. Barrett is the real problem here. The 3 kids are actually well behaved. But I suppose Dawn and the Easily Managed 3 isn't a very catchy book title. The big ending is when the Barrett boy is kidnapped while Dawn is getting the girls ready for a play date. The police declare an Amber Alert and everyone in the neighborhood starts searching for the missing child. Eventually, we learn that the kidnapper is Mr. Barrett. It wasn't a kidnapping, it was his day to watch the kids. Mom just forgot to tell everybody about it. Dang it, Impossible Mother! Well, Dawn has had enough, so the next day she meets with Mrs. Barrett and she explains that her life is going to go down the toilet if she doesn't get organized now. Most adults I know don't like being told off by 12-year-olds, but Mrs. Barrett realizes Dawn is right. She promises to clean her house and take care of her kids, and she thanks Dawn by giving her a raise. Jeez, I wish I could get a raise by insulting my boss. The book ends with the solution to the Kristy drama. She won't have to quit the Babysitters Club because she's going to pay her brother to take her to meetings. The 5 girls are happy and they take a group photo. The end. Post-book follow-up. Remember how this book makes a big deal out of the fact that the baby is deathly allergic to chocolate and Mrs. Barrett never told anyone? Well, flip your book open to page 49. The baby eats an entire package of M&Ms with no negative side effects whatsoever. This book has 2 filler chapters which don't affect the story. The interesting one is a Meet the Parents scene on Memorial Day, where Dawn's mother introduces Mr. Spear to her parents. Of course, they are impressed now that Mr. Spear is a cool lawyer. The second filler chapter is about Kristy babysitting for her soon-to-be stepfamily. Add this to the Kristy-Dawn conflict and Kristy being told her family has to move, and I'm wondering why this isn't a Kristy book. Dawn is an interesting addition to the Babysitters Club. She has some smart ideas on how to handle the Barrett kids, and her plan for dealing with Kristy was proactive. Overall, I'd say Dawn is more mature than the other girls. Actually, she's more mature than most of the adults in this town. Seriously, the people in Stony Brook need parenting lessons. All in all, this book was fairly decent, and the storylines were better interwoven than in books 1 and 3. I give Dawn and the Impossible 3 a 7 out of 10.